Hi, welcome to CHELSGROWS. I'm Chelsea. If you're new here, I'm on a mission to grow as many food and flower crops as I possibly can here in the Pacific Northwest in Zone 8B. So it's the beginning of May, it's go time. I have a lot to do. First thing we'll do is we'll do like a seedling update. Seedlings are looking gorgeous, they're looking beautiful, they're looking strong. Then the priority is to up pot our peppers and tomatoes, because we did that in April. If you missed my April checklist gardening video, I'll link it up here and in the description. But we did that only 3 weeks ago. So I'll give you an update on the indoor seed starting setup. We have a lot going on. I've up potted some of the basil. I've up potted all of the marigolds into a seed snail. So if you've been like on gardening Instagram, on YouTube, I'm sure you've heard of these seed snails. Been made popular by, her name's Frida Sober. I even bought her like $9, $10 ebook on how to do this. And I honestly think it was worth the $10. Look at those roots. Those are gonna be like 10-inch roots. I would say this is probably 6 to 7 inches, maybe even 8 inches. And there are marigold roots coming through, and that's what you want. I used to work in a plant nursery as a production technician, and we would grow things in 7-inch to 10-inch cones because we wanted the plants to grow their roots down as far as they could. When plants just have stronger roots, they're just stronger plants. Stronger roots equals stronger plants. So this has been amazing. I only up potted some of my basil. I just did this yesterday. So much germinated, hundreds of basil seeds germinated, you guys. We sowed this not even a month ago, the 6th of April. And today is like May 2nd or 3rd. I even sowed some Cosmo seeds into these seed snails and they germinated beautifully. I'm going to up pot a lot of my peppers and tomatoes into seed snails. So we'll do that today. Okay, I'll kind of show you the process. But like I said, I'll link Farida's Instagram in the description because I just think it's genius. If you grow on a small scale like me, space is limited, dude. Space is very limited. I up potted the straw flowers into cells. These are the Vego standard 8 cells. Up potted 6 basil. This is the Epic Gardening 6 cell. So I'm using like different kinds of cells. Epic Gardening, Vego Garden, all the links will be down in the description, and if you use the code CHELSGROWS, you'll save some money, okay? I love both of these seed cells, but like I said, when I'm growing hundreds of plants, it's hard to keep up in seed cells. I started 21 cells of lettuce because the lettuce that I planted out a week or so ago, it got transplant shock. It's not doing the best, and the reason is because it's actually like 80 degrees today and tomorrow, and it's been like in the 70s, which is really rare for Western Washington. If you're also in the Pacific Northwest and you're getting a crazy heat wave, let me know, because it's the beginning of May and it's 80 degrees and all of my lettuce got transplant shock because they were like, girl, why is it 80 degrees at the beginning of May? So that's where we are. So I started more lettuce inside. What I'll do eventually is I'll thin this out, or I'll prick some of these out into separate cells. I just want one of these in each cell, so then it's just one head of lettuce. There's like butter crunch lettuce, Paris Cost romaine, and then butterhead lettuce as well. I've been leaving a copy of my full crop plan in the description. It's just a Google document, and it links all of the seeds I'm using. All of the seeds I am using this year are from Epic Gardening and Botanical Interest. They're all owned by the same person, Kevin Espiritu from Epic Gardening. If you're interested in any of these seeds, I literally give you all the seeds and all the links. So it's there in the description. So today, our main priority is separating and up potting all these tomatoes and all these peppers. I even wrote down a game plan. If you've watched my videos for a while, you know I'm a big person on writing stuff down. If you get your thoughts onto paper, it's just so much easier. So we have 30 tomatoes to separate, and then we have 41 peppers to separate. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use all of these GreenStalk cell trays. These are awesome because they're big. I think they're about 2.5 to 3 inches worth of media in each cell, which is great for tomatoes and peppers because tomatoes and peppers, they just get big. And I'm planning on keeping them inside probably for the rest of the month. Yeah, I'm probably not planting out my tomatoes and peppers for like another month. So they're gonna be in these cells for another month, and then whatever is left, because this is only 36 cells and we have 30 plus 41, and we have 71 plants. So 36 out of those 71 will be going in these, and then the rest will be doing seed burrito, seed snail type of thing, because we'll just save space. Okay, and I have the game plan all on there, because if I didn't, I would just start and then I would get really overwhelmed. Okay, and then these back here, whoa, oh my gosh. These back here are dahlias that I separated. They're growing so beautifully. And then I have like random basil plants. These also, I think I'm gonna be keeping under the grow lights for like, I don't know, another few weeks. I'm sure a lot of you were like, Chelsea, why are you growing so many plants? I posted a video of like, I'm going to farm school this year, right? But I haven't posted a video on, I've acquired 1/8 of an acre of land, which is crazy. It's 5,500 square feet. No, I won't own it. It's through a nonprofit organization helping BIPOC beginning farmers like me. The contractor who's plowing my plot, because my plot, it has a lot of potential, but it has a lot of grass and a lot of weeds. So I could hand cultivate it, but that would take a long time. So the plan is for him to clear up my plot, hopefully over the next couple days. I don't know how long it'll take him. And then we will go from there. But basically the reason why I'm growing hundreds and hundreds of plants, even though I just have a small balcony garden, is because most of these plants will be going into that plot, hopefully. Honestly, I would have liked for the plot to be ready by now, but it's out of my control. Everything that needs to happen on that 1/8 of an acre plot is in someone else's hands now. Once it's cleared, then I can start kind of planning and designing. But for right now, I'm just kind of focused on the balcony garden. Speaking of the balcony garden, let's quickly go out there and check some of our seedlings. It's already so hot. The Swiss chard is doing amazingly. But I'm not gonna plant these out until the heat wave passes. So like in 2 or 3 days. So probably in the next video, I'll plant these out with you guys. I need to plant the rest of my Napa cabbages into the garden. But like I said, I'm waiting till the heat wave passes. Same with my broccoli. I just need to wait until the heat wave passes, but I'll show you guys these roots. Don't play about those roots. They are gorgeous and strong. So this is like one snap pea that I need to plant out when the heat wave passes. These are borage that may or may not make it. I don't know. They might not make it, and that's okay. I started more chives. I separated all of my snapdragons and my rutabaga. This is 49 plants. This is 7 by 7. And I'll just quickly show you the balcony garden. So everything's looking really good, especially the sage. This sage plant. I've made so many sage plants from this one sage plant. Get a sage plant. And I got this for free from a farm friend last year, and it's gorgeous. I have more kale and seed cells over there. The scallions are doing great. That is a native plant. I think it's Tillema grandiflora. There's a rosemary. Things are doing okay, but like I said, the heat wave is kind of taking some things out. But this broccoli is like the only broccoli I have in the garden right now, and I'm hoping we can harvest in the next, I don't know what, 3 to 4 weeks, crossing my fingers. I've never grown broccoli before, so hopefully this works. I'm gonna work inside today. We have the ceiling fan. It's cool in here. It's like already hot out there. It's the beginning of May, like what's happening? I don't like it. And it's been so dry. There's been like no rain for weeks, and there's no rain forecasted for weeks. I don't know. I'm a bit concerned. I was born and raised here in King County, Washington, so I'm used to a much cooler, wetter spring. and I like a cool wet spring, to be honest. Sorry, like, yes, the nice weather is nice. As a gardener, and as now I'm gonna be stewarding a plot of land this year, I'm like, in my head right now, I want my plot to absorb as much rainwater as possible this spring, but we'll just see. You never know. Okay, so now let's get set up to start up potting the peppers and the tomatoes. Cool thing about living in an apartment is when people move out, they'll just leave the best stuff. So someone moved out, they left this perfectly good table. Guess who grabbed it? Me. Duh, because I have it. But this has been helping me so much with up potting and with seed starting. Like, look. So now when I'm working, I have 2 tables. I just feel like when you're working with hundreds to thousands of plants, having 2 tables, it just helps, okay? I kind of want to show you guys how I set this up. So I like getting all my materials before I even start, because once all the materials are gathered, it just, I don't know, it just makes things go by way more smooth. It's kind of like when you start cooking, like if you do your mise en place, which I think is like a French word for just like organizing your things before you start cooking, I think, then everything is just easier. My plants, the trays that I'll be planting into, these recycled materials for the seed snails. I really like this bubble wrap material. This is like material from GreenStalk. They send the cutest packaging and it happens to be bubble wrap, so I repurpose it for seed snails. Same with like Amazon packaging. So I have these ready to go to up pot into seed snails. GreenStalk is having a huge sale, you guys. Like, I do not want you guys to miss out on the GreenStalk sale. It ends like May 11th or something. Seriously, check it out. It's changed the way I garden, is all I'm saying. I harvest so much freaking food from my GreenStalk. We have 2 different kinds of fertilizer. We have granular fertilizer and we have liquid fertilizer. I'll be fertilizing what we up pot into these with the liquid fertilizer. And then what we up pot into seed snails, I put this granular fertilizer at the base. I'll show you guys. It'll make sense when I'm doing it. We have a tray. You guys know I love working on a tray. I have multiple trays. So this is the GreenStalk tray that came with these. It's like a whole kit. Again, check it out. This is what I will bottom water in because it's deep. I think it's this like 2 inches deep. Perfect depth, maybe even 3 inches. Perfect depth for working on or for bottom watering, which I love to do. This tray is from Vego. It comes with the standard 8-cell kits. These are all products I use literally every day. Everything I use will be in the description. I actually have 2 things of potting mix. This and this. For filling up all 36 of these, we're gonna go through a lot of potting mix, plus we'll be doing seed snails. Labels, pen, am I missing anything? Water, I have a tea and I have a water because you gotta stay hydrated. Then I have my plan. The plan. So my plan is, I wrote out all of my tomato varieties. So I have Mountain Merit, Patio, Yellow, Sun Gold. I wrote out all my pepper varieties. So I have jalapeno, Thai, sweet, shishito. All of these are gonna be in a full tray. Whatever is left over, I will be putting into seed snails, okay? Or seed burritos. So, it's always like, okay, I gotta get into it. Okay, the first thing we do is we just put potting mix into these. That's the first step. This potting mix it's not like older, I've amended it. It's not as fresh as this one over here. The bottom inch of this, I'll do the older potting mix, I think, meaning I'm doing that. And then I'll do the top inch or 2, the newer potting mix. But of course, just basically put potting mix into this, okay? And I always say this, you can make your potting mix, you can buy your potting mix. I made mine. I will show you like a recipe, put it on the screen, okay? 3 parts coco coir, 2 parts mushroom compost, then it's like 1 part worm castings, half a part to 1 part vermiculite, half a part to 1 part perlite. I say like a handful of mycorrhizal inoculate. I've made this many times. It has done really well in my garden. This is fresh potting mix that I made. This is what I would do, so I'm doing it. Sometimes I won't have an explanation for why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't want you guys to think like I'm an expert. I'm just a girl who started growing plants a couple of years ago and then got a job in a plant nursery. And then somehow I got this 1/8 of an acre this year to steward. I posted something on Instagram today. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen or where this is going, but I'm just kind of going with it. We will just see where we end up, okay? And I say that because gardening and farming, there's a lot of room for failure. There's so many things, timing, weather, the seasons, soil. Between seed and harvest, there's so many things that could go wrong. For example, the heat wave absolutely frying my lettuce that I planted out last week. Okay, I'll just sow more lettuce and we'll try it again in 2 or 3 weeks or something. There we go. Before I fill them, I'm going to label them. Let's look at our little map. Mountain merit and patio yellow, jalapeno. We'll just do those ones first, okay? Then this is a trick that I learned in working in a plant nursery. So I'll put this original sow date, which was April 6th. And then when I'm potting up, I also put the potting update, which today is May 3rd. And the reason why I do that is because it gives me a timeline when it was seeded, when it was up potted. What I like to do is, especially with fast annuals like this, like tomatoes, peppers, I feel like this might be like a rule of thumb for some people. You don't want to leave a plant in a pot, especially if it's a fast grower like peppers, like tomatoes. You don't want to leave it in a pot for more than like a month. Like I feel like I've read and I've seen the rules of up potting is like 4 weeks for fast growing annuals. It's completely different for native plants and stuff. I started the seeds here a month ago. Now I'm up potting. Now in a month, probably the end of May, beginning of June, I'll want to move these into their permanent spot. I hope that makes sense. The first one we will up pot is the mountain merit, which is on the edge. So that's good. That's good. We'll start there. There's no hard and fast rules about this. You can use a little tool, use the shovel to shovel these plants out. But I'll be honest, I usually just use my hands. And I don't really ever use gloves. I just feel like I have more control when I don't have gloves on. 2 tomato plants. We will separate them. Perfect. We want to keep as many of those roots as possible. Just dig around a bit. With tomatoes, if you plant them up to there, then roots will come out from there. And that's not the case for all plants, but I have read and watched enough gardening videos to know that that is the case for tomatoes. Up potting is such a fun activity if you have like a Sunday off and you can stay at home. Yeah, when you just want to relax. If you have a neighbor, a friend, a partner, this is fun to do it with a partner as well. My partner, he's golfing right now. I said that as if I'm mad. I'm not mad that my husband is golfing on a really nice day. That's actually amazing. I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for him. I am though. I'm whatever. Anyway, we're just gonna keep going, you guys. You take them out, you separate them, you plant them. I hope it's not that. I hope it doesn't seem complicated. We're done with this full tray of mountain merit tomato plants. Gorgeous. Now we will bottom water them and we will use the Fish and Grow. This is a 2-gallon watering can and I only fill it up halfway so I can just make it a gallon. A tablespoon per gallon. I take a bit of this. It does smell. But what I learned working in a plant nursery is like smell, especially with fertilizer, because this is made with fish solubles. Smell isn't a bad thing. It actually is probably a good thing. The plant nursery I worked in, it reeked on fertilizing days of bird and bat guano, which is bird and bat shit, poop. And then like fish solubles, which I think is just like little bits of fish, right? Anyway, so 1 gallon of that, a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of that, and then this is ready to go. I would normally do this outside, you guys, but it's so hot out there. I don't want to work out there. And honestly, if my whole apartment smells like fish, well, it is what it is. Then I'll take the mountain merit. As you can see, it's all potted up nice and beautifully. And that'll just sit in here 30 minutes tops, 45 minutes tops. If you forget a plant that's bottom watering, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I've left plants that are being bottom watered like overnight, and I forget, and I come out to the balcony and there's plants just sitting in water. I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. And I'm like, oh no, it's gonna die. It doesn't die. What I have found with bottom watering is the plant will just take up what it needs and then it'll just be fine. Obviously, don't leave your plants in water for like days. You know, if you forget about it for one night, in my experience, it's been fine. Okay, now I want to show you a pepper. Let's do a jalapeno. Again, you can use a little tool like this. I don't know where I got this little shovel. I think it came in one of my seed starting kits, but you can just take your God-given hands and just dig them out. Like that. I'm so excited for this, for peppers and tomatoes. I grew peppers last year and I tried tomatoes last year on the balcony. They didn't do the best, is what I'll say. Could have done better. I probably won't bury them as deep. You can use a tool, you can use your hands. I'm using my hands. I'm just making a little divot. And I try to leave as much root as possible because those roots are important. You can always just backfill it with more potting mix when we're done. Potting up is really, to me, easy because I've done it a million freaking times because this was my full-time job. But I remember in the beginning, I was really intimidated to do this process. I was like, how do you know? When do you do it? Like I said, I think the 4-week mark is a really good tell of when to do it. Also, the amount of true leaves. This pepper plant has, I think this is the cotyledon. So this pepper plant has 1-2 sets of true leaves. Usually when a plant has 2 sets of true leaves, you can pot it up. To go out into the garden, I would say like at least 3 sets. Perfect. And then we'll just take a little bit more potting mix, backfill the top. That's how easy potting up is. Like I said, I have had many reps with this. So if this takes you a whole season to get used to, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, I totally get it. I really think that I've been able to just learn so quickly because I had a full-time job doing this. And I laugh because I had no experience. I just was really honest in my interview. I was like, I want to learn this industry quickly. And the advice I got was to work in the industry, you know, work in a plant nursery, work as a farmhand. If you are interested in this line of work, I got a job without any experience. I'm sure you could get a job without any experience. You just have to be honest in your interviews. I'm also completely self-taught. I've learned a lot on my own as well. There we go. And then we will put it over here with its friend to get bottom watered. Okay, I'm on my last tray. I'm potting up some sweet bell peppers, but I also wanted to show you guys a little tip. So you make your little divot into the seed tray, seed cell. Hold the plant by the leaves, kind of just guide the roots into the divot, and then just tuck it in. One of my coworkers, he always said that potting up, whatever you call it. Let me know what you call it. I think I always say up potting, but I've heard some people say potting up. Maybe sometimes they say potting up, but everyone says it different. Let me know what you guys say. But he always told me that potting up, doing this process is kind of like putting your plants, you're like tucking them into bed, and you want to do it gently and carefully and lovingly by the little leaves. Put a divot into the cell, guide those precious roots into the divot, tuck your little plant in to bed. I always just thought it was like a really cute, nice way of describing up potting, potting up. This is an important step in gardening and farming and plant cultivation, is giving your plants the room they need to grow, basically. This is the last tray of the GreenStalk trays. So I will put her in bottom water with all of her friends. As you can see, is once you take them from being bottom watered, you want to put them on another tray to kind of catch all that goodness, especially because it's like fish fertilizer. So you don't really want it dripping around your house. So these were the first two I did with you, the jalapeno and the mountain merit. So now we'll just put it back under the grow lights. Another reason why I wanted to up pot all of these tomatoes and peppers is, well, because it was time to, but also it's because once I have this tray full of the seed cells that belong here, then I'll have more of an idea of like how much room I have in this indoor setup of like starting seeds. Fine with gardening, and I guess now that I'm also growing for a farm, is you're always moving things to plant. So you know how I have my like seedling stand outside? Most of those things need to be planted in the next 2 weeks. And then once that shelf is empty, then I'll start moving these dahlias, these basil, these cosmos. I'll start moving plants from here out to there to harden off. And the term hardening off means taking your plants and putting them in their environment that they'll end up in, which is outside in, you know, the full sun. I hope that makes sense. I feel like with gardening, and now that I'm learning like a farming workflow, I feel like workflow and systems are the hardest thing to kind of for people to wrap their heads around. Okay, I have this here now, but then these will move in the next month. What seeds will I have started then? And it's like always moving, it's always changing. I actually need to start thinking about my winter squash, even though it's May. I didn't buy any winter squash seeds, but if I have all this land this year, I'm like, girl, you better make the most out of it. So I've been looking into winter squashes. They have a really long growing season, like over 100 days. So I need to start thinking about them now. And I read it in my book. I have this book, Vegetable Gardening in the Pacific Northwest, Discovering Growing Tips for Maritime Climate. So if you're in the same climate as me, highly suggest this book. This is my second season having it. So now we're in May. It literally takes you month by month. So I was looking into May, and then it said transplant or direct sow, and then one of them is winter squashes. So I was like, winter squashes? For some reason, I was just like, I can start those winter squashes later. But the more research I'm doing, they need a long growing period. So if you have any winter squashes you love to grow, let me know. Like, I love a delicata squash. I love a butternut squash. I love all those, but I'm mostly thinking of something I can maybe even just direct sow. I don't even know if I want to start anything else inside. I don't know. Just let me know, because I've never grown winter squash. Obviously have never had the room for it. That is where I grow. And now I'm just going to have some land. Can you guys let me know about winter squashes? Educate me, please and thank you. It seems like the rest of these are done. They feel heavy. I think a lot of people kind of get confused with bottom watering. They're like, how do I know when it's watered? What I do is I'll like feel the top of the soil. If the top of the soil is like saturated, the tray feels heavy, it's watered, okay? I'm gonna get the rest of these onto the grow light shelf. Then I will show you some examples of seed snails. So for seed snails, like I said, I learned it all from Farida Sober. I'll link her in the description. You guys can check her out. But I started these seeds in these seed snails. And this material, I think, is just like an old Amazon packaging. All the seed snails I use is from recycled material. So I started these on the 27th. That was like 5 days ago. And look at how well these cosmos are doing. They're doing so good. You can start seeds and seed snails. You can up pot. I up potted these yesterday and they look really good, these basil. And these marigolds, I showed you guys in the beginning of the video, but oh my gosh, I cannot believe these roots are traveling that far. Like, that is an amazing sign. So We'll get into seed snails next. Using the last of the GreenStalk trays, we are finally using them, guys. Look at how beautiful. These are gonna do so great. So like I said, the game plan is for these to be in here, hopefully only 6 weeks tops. These, I hope to not have to pot up again. My plan is from this stage, they're going into the ground, into the garden. Okay, let's get into seed snails. Seed snails, or I like to call them seed burritos. So you want some sort of recycled plastic. I have done it in a burlap sack, a seed snail, but what happens is the roots grow into the fabric. I actually have to switch this out into a plastic material. I know a lot of people are like, boo plastic, boo plastic. I'm using plastic trays. I'm using plastic seed snails. I'm recycling it, you know, like I don't know. I feel like not guilty, honestly, because this was already in packaging. I'm recycling it. So in my opinion, I'm recycling this, okay? I really like the bubble wrap. The bubble wrap, in my opinion, has been like the most effective and like the most durable. You want your potting mix wetter than usual. Wetting it down makes it more durable. I kind of think of this, the potting mix, as like kind of the paste that's holding the snail together. It's kind of like the glue. But you don't want it so wet that it's like dripping. You want it to just like be able to hold its shape. And in terms of like height and width and everything, Farida Sober says like 6 inches is good for height, and then for width, I think that just depends on how many plants you're planning on sowing or potting up or whatever. Because I think this tray is like 20 inches long. So yeah, this is probably like 12 inches or something. And then you just want to get the potting mix nice and compact on here. I'm really new to this, so I could be doing this completely wrong, but this is what I've been doing and it seems to be doing okay. Leave like about an inch or two free at the end because that'll help the seed snail just kind of wrap together. And you want some sort of tape, or I use this string to either tape it closed, or I like to tie it closed. And the reason is because I already had this. I've had this for like 2 seasons, this string. I don't even know how many feet it is, but it's a lot of feet because I've had it for years. And I was like, I might as well just use this. I'll show you guys the spacing for it, and then I'm just gonna reuse this tag. I'm gonna space it like an inch apart. Remember what I said about tomatoes? They can kind of be buried pretty deep, so I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna place 444 granular fertilizer. This is slow release granular fertilizer. I'm gonna place it on the base of the seed snail. Not like all the way down, like right below the roots. And the amount, I don't know. I just do like a sprinkle. And I mean, I saw Farida do this on her Instagram account. Again, go check her out. And her reasoning made sense to me. You want these roots here to reach for their nutrients, because that's what they'll be doing. And the more they're reaching down, the bigger the roots will get, the stronger the roots will get. We're all about strong roots around here, okay? You guys know me, I love working on a tray. It's just easier. So now we can start rolling. You just basically roll it like a sushi roll or like a burrito. But what you really want to do is you want to make sure that the bottom part, the soil on the bottom, is staying compact. And I'll show you guys in a sec. There's a creator, his name's Ben from Grow Veg here on YouTube. He also recently did a seed snail video that I watched, and I think you should watch if you're really interested in this. About 7 tomato plants, and this is taking up about 2 square inches, which is amazing. So we have it rolled up. We want to take, if you have tape, tape it up. I have string, so I'm going to tie it together. This has just been a really cool technique for me to learn because, again, I have a really small space. I grow in that little corner with my indoor setup, and then I grow in my balcony. And when you're starting tons of seeds, space is king, you know? I'm sure you guys feel it too if you are starting a ton of seeds and you live in an apartment like me. You guys can see the bottom, right? You want that compact, like the marigold seed snail, this action. You want the roots coming out from the bottom. That is a brilliant sign. If you've watched my videos for a while, you know, I save all of my takeout containers and I drill holes in the bottom, and I'm finding it really useful for the seed snails. So I can bottom water them while they're in here and their soil just kind of stays level on the bottom. If you're using bubble wrap, use the smooth side to put the soil on and have the bubble side on the outside. So I'm just gonna do the same thing, okay? Taking the potting mix, remember it's holding its shape. We are patting it down. Let me know if you guys have tried the seed snail method. I think I've said this is my first year doing it and I'm finding a lot of success with it, but I am finding a lot of learning things with it. Like I'm never gonna use fabric again because it works for a bit and then all the roots are entangled in the fabric. So I was like, okay, I probably need to stop that. All these patio yellows look great. I know I've already said this, guys, but like all the seeds, my crop plan will be in the description if you are interested. All my seeds, I got them from Epic Gardening, Botanical Interests. Amazing germination rate. I'm so happy with how everything is growing and germinating this season. I think a lot of the reason is because of the seeds I'm using. Oh, I'm gonna separate this because I'm just gonna put it all in one. I'm gonna cut that out and I'm gonna use this mountain merit tag as a divider here. I saw someone say that this is a good tip. Like make like a little tag and use it as like a barrier between your plants if you're planting multiple varieties in one seed snail. Whoever gave me that tip, I'm sure it was Farida. It's a really good tip, very smart. A sprinkling of the 444 fertilizer so the roots are reaching for that nutrients. This is like so fun to me, you guys. I do like potting up days, but if you have hundreds to pot up, like if you're like in a production nursery and you have hundreds to pot up, then it can get very overwhelming from personal experience. Cool. Now we're ready to roll, but actually remember we need to make our strings. It's just ready to go and I'm not like clamoring to cut strings. Ready to roll, guys? Ready to roll? Okay. Focus, Charles. But really, this is really fun, really easy. I feel like if you have kids, this would be really fun to do with your kids. It's just like a different way to do things. And I love experimenting with different ways of growing. I mean, you guys saw me, if you saw my videos from earlier in the year, I just sowed seeds in these recycled containers and it just worked. And I'd never done it before. And it just worked. And I didn't even use my grow lights for most of them. When I do these garden experiments and they just work out, it's really satisfying. If you're growing in a certain way and you have your heart set on something, but maybe it's not working out, then try it a different way. Huge chunk of soil just came out of there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compact it more. Don't aim for perfection. Just try your best. Everything's okay. Things will grow. Seeds want to grow. But my goal is just to not unwrap these until I'm planting out. That's like kind of my mindset. And then now, whoa, I'm going to bottom water it. And you guys might be thinking, Chelsea, there's fish fertilizer in there. Like, are you double fertilizing? Kinda. So the granular fertilizer that we put at the base of the roots, that's slow release. So that will be feeding these plants throughout the next, hopefully 4 to 6 weeks before they get planted out. This fertilizer is immediate. Am I worried that I'm like double fertilizing? I'm not worried. I don't know. I'm just not worried. And if those plants for some reason get like over fertilized and they die, I'm not worried about it because I have tons of other plants of that same variety. Here are the rest of the peppers and the tomatoes. Putting it on a tray. So we started with 71 plants. We potted 36, the GreenStalk seed cells. So this is the rest of them, which fits into one takeout container. 71 minus 36. That was embarrassing. So 71 minus 36 is 35, which I should have known because 35 times 2 is 70. Girl, It's like, just use your brain. So we up potted 71 plants today. This is 35 of them, which if you're a small space gardener like me, this is a big deal. This is why I like the seed snails. Now let's go to our indoor seed starting setup. Thinking this all should go on this level. Oh my gosh, that works perfectly. So that's like the seed snail level, okay? This is the up potted seed snail level. Then we have some starting seed snails over here. So the cosmos, germinating beautifully. And then back here, we have zinnias, which have already germinated. You guys, I sowed those yesterday. I'll show you. It is, can you guys see it? See, it's a little radical. Cut and come again zinnias. This is Swiss chard celebration. So like the rainbow Swiss chard. And then I just put a little bag over it. It keeps the moisture at the top level, which is where you want the moisture for those seeds. It keeps it moist. This is just from the grocery store. I'm pretty sure I got like a donut with this and I saved it. Put it back over. And then once more seeds germinate, we will just take the bag off and it'll look like this. So once seeds germinate, I never have a cover on top of it. It'll just suffocate them. And down here, we have all of our amazing peppers and tomatoes in the GreenStalk 6 cells. They look great. They look a little bit droopy right now, but I have a feeling they'll perk right back up in the next couple days. And then I have some lettuce, some dahlias, and some basil. So yeah, we have a lot cooking, obviously, as you can see. I definitely have room to start seeds, especially if I start seeds like this in seed snails. I definitely could scooch some things over. We have a lot of summer crops going on, which is a good thing because if you're growing right now, you really should be thinking about your summer crops, starting your summer crop seeds. So flowers. If you haven't started tomatoes and peppers yet, I would personally probably buy plant starts for that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all of these basil plants. I don't want to put them to waste. I have a lot in seed cells already, in separate seed cells. I have a whole seed snail of them. I think I'll do another seed snail and then the rest, maybe I'll just gift it to people. I just didn't think the basil would germinate like this. And I swear you guys, it's because of Epic Gardening and Botanical Interest seeds. They're the best seeds. Look at all this germination. I can't. I need to clean up. It is a mess in here. I would hate for Tom, my husband, to get home and there just be soil everywhere. So I gotta go and I gotta clean up. So let me know how it's going. I feel literally like in the weeds right now. How is your growing season going? Obviously I have a lot going on. If you want to learn more about the farm plot, I will post more about it once things get going. I think I said in the beginning of the video, there's infrastructure things that are out of my control. Irrigation, I don't think won't be installed till like beginning of June. Let me know how your growing season's going. This is the most plants I have ever grown, started, up potted myself personally. I'm hoping this is a great season. Hopefully in the next week or so, I can take you guys out in the balcony garden when it's cooler and we can start harvesting. I have been harvesting sage, chives, and little leafy greens from the balcony garden. I just haven't taken you guys with me. So if you want a video about that, let me know. If you learned something new, please like and subscribe to the channel CHELSGROWS. I will be posting every week about my journey here in the balcony garden and out on the 2 farms that I will be working on this year. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon. Love you, mean it. Bye.